Hi, it's Larana, and this is an alchemical beauty, Felicia,
Hi, everybody.
and it's time for Rose Garden Radio, live from the very center of the universe, Canton, Ohio. Yay! Well, thanks for being here, and I'm really glad I'm here, and I'm glad Felicia is the goddess Felicia is here with me. And if it's your first time to Rose Garden Radio is here to help you shift your life from what we call 3D, what you're doing right now, to 5D, living more fully from your heart and living your dream life because you can. And a lot of times I do what I call the pie stories, PIE. But currently, you've been helping me do a deep dive on my book, my first volume of the Amy Hill Adventure series, Volume 1. And it's called A Weekend with Aunt Larana and the Sisterhood of the Golden Rose. So I really, really appreciate it. My goal is to have it up on Amazon before Xmas, and I'm doing good to meet that. And I appreciate all your help. So we're going to read today where we left off last week. Ami and Aunt Larana are at the Ambassador's Ball and at the Palace of Versailles in 1778, and they just got a message that the Queen, Marie Antoinette, would like to see them in her private apartments. So here we go. A minute later, we were walking through what seemed to be an endless maze of corridors and staircases. There were so many tapestries and portraits to look at as we were led to Marie's private apartment that I could barely take it all in. Now, this is Amy speaking. After a while, we came to a pair of heavily guarded wooden doors, which we were able to sail through in the presence of our official escort. As we stepped into the ornate parlor, I saw Marie standing in silhouette before a bank of windows. "That will be fine, Jerome. I am safe with my friends. Leave us in privacy, merci," she said in her hushed voice while slowly turning towards us. The guard bowed, then stepped backward out the door, closing it upon his retreat. "D'accord," Marie let out as it shut. She broke into a big smile, which I thought made her look years younger, and showed us to a little sitting area by windows that overlooked the gardens. That didn't sound so smooth, so I'm gonna have to work on that one a little later, and I will. Anyways, Larana, tell me what has happened. You look and definitely feel different. I must be caught up, and we have very little time together before I will start to be missed," the Queen said, looking intently at my aunt. "Oh, Marie, Ami and I are here from the year 2025. I have so much I want to tell you, but I will focus on what is most important to us right now. Yesterday, we were in 1752 and ran into Benjamin Franklin in Philadelphia. I did not know what year it was, so I thought he already knew me from tonight's ball. We came back here because of a deep wish. I'm going to say a deep desire. Let's correct that. A deep desire Ami held in her heart to know if Benjamin would already know me tonight. But on to more important news. There is no common knowledge or written material about the Sisterhood of the Golden Rose in the future. Something had to have happened somewhere between now and 2025, but I don't know what. I seem to be the only sister that remembers who she is. Marie, you must start to plant clues about the sisterhood for the future, for you will be known throughout the ages, Aunt Larana said urgently. I'm going to say imploringly. Thanks out there for helping me. I shuddered to myself, already knowing the fate of this famous queen. Experiencing her strong, centered, and loving energy made it hard for me to believe that what we were told in our history books was true. I can hardly believe this news, but believe it I will. I feel your energy tonight and feel the truth in your words, Marie said passionately. Aunt Larana! I almost shot up from my seat. I was so excited. I just remembered a picture of Marie Antoinette from my history of art book, and she was holding a rose, I exclaimed. I remember feeling drawn to the image and took the time to look at the artist's name. That is why I know for sure the artist was Elizabeth Lebrun. I heard two collective gasps. How ingenious, Ami. You have pointed us to the perfect clue and the perfect way to keep it safe, my aunt said, beaming at me with her shiny eyes. Beaming at me with shiny eyes. That's better. Yep. Okay. Marie, Elizabeth Lebrun, as you know, is our guest tonight. You can request her as a royal portrait painter. I know her style will appeal to your taste and fit our plan, Aunt Larana said. Do you remember any more details about the painting on me? Marie asked, gazing at me with her imploring eyes. With imploring eyes. Got it. Thank you. I went back in my mind to the painting I had seen in my history of art book. I remember a thin white frilly dress, and you were wearing a big straw hat with a feathered plume in it, I said, after some reflection. That's all I can see at the moment. My phone would have come in handy right now. And the sleeves look funny, like they were tied in segments up the arm, I added as a visual afterthought. Marie stood up suddenly and left the room. Moments later, she returned carrying a dress in her arms. I don't know if you guys got that. So Marie stood up suddenly and left the room. Moments later, she returned carrying a dress in her arms. Ami, is this the dress? She whispered. The minute I looked at it, I knew that it was. I could only look into her eyes and nod as a big wave of energy rolled through me. Do you remember the year, Ami? The queen asked, still staring into my eyes. I know it was the 1700s, but wait, it was 1783. I gasped as the concrete memory came into my mind. I'm going to say solidified into my mind. Thank you out there. Or in here. Now I remember, right after class, I went to the cafeteria to get a snack. I paid with a 20 and my change was $17.83, which I thought was funny at the time because it was the year the picture I had just been staring at was painted. I was beginning to see how seemingly unimportant pieces of information can fit together at another time, and that we are alerted to these important pieces at the original time through odd serendipities so we can remember them later. Marie pressed on. And the rose, my sweet, what color? What was its color? The depth of her energy seemed to penetrate into my very soul. It was a light pink color, I said, seeing the painting clearly in my mind now. I saw my aunt and Marie quickly look at each other when the color was mentioned. A natural rose would of course be the most appropriate, Marie said, as my aunt nodded her agreement. Marie, no matter what happens, that painting will survive into our time, Aunt Larana declared with certainty. I watched as Marie absorbed the truthful potency of my aunt's statement. Suddenly, there was a sharp rap at the door. We all started for a second, then giggled together and relaxed. Entrez, s'il vous plaît, Marie said in a slight more formal tone. Your Majesty, your presence is being requested, a guard announced, then quietly shut the door. We rose, getting ready to depart. I watched as Marie Antoinette embraced my aunt. Larana, my sister, our paths will reunite again, and everything that we always believed will come to pass, she whispered into her ear. Luckily, my superpower, exceptional hearing, allowed me to catch all of it. This gift has been a little secret I have kept to myself since it comes in handy sometimes. Marie turned to me and opened her arms wide. I folded into them. And you, my dear sweet Ami, have been a delight. I will carry you in my heart from now on, Marie said with tears shining in her eyes. I stayed in her arms a little longer than I normally would, blown away by everything I was experiencing. I'm feeling this may be the first and last time I would ever get to hug her. I will never forget you, my queen, I said softly before letting go of our embrace. Tears were in my own eyes now, too. Well, that's all we have for today. Thank you so much. And I am working on this project and I have a goal and I'm going to do it. Okay. Thanks to your help. I hope you have a wonderful night and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.